the Care Bear that I crocheted. The pattern is by Phoenix underscore toys. Phoenix toys. And I got the pattern on Etsy, so I'm gonna try it. So I was doing a Google search on the Care Bears. It came out in 1981, and I was born in 1980, so I was about 1 year old when this came out. Elena Kucharik is the one that created them, and they were multicolored bears. This one is the Lucky Bear. I made a love bear couple like yesterday, so came out in 1981. I used to play with these. They had miniatures, they had keychains, kind of like those little Polly Pocket toys. I used to play with them. They were like plastic. They have different things like socks that they put things on, sheets, curtains. I mean, you can decorate your room in the Care Bears. It got really popular. They had a DVD in 1985. I guess it was like a TV show. I think I used to watch it when I was a kid. But I'm a 1980s baby. Hello, I'm going to be crocheting the Lucky Bear crochet Care Bear. I got some parts done. I made the clover already. And then this is going to be the belly. And then I have to sew that on like that. So it's going to be the Care Bear belly for the clover. I think it's called the Lucky Bear. And then I did the little muzzle already. So I used a white parfait chunky yarn and then this like greenish color. And then I embroidered a heart. Basically, I took my needle into this from the back and then up kind of like in a slanted way. And then when the needle was inside of it, went over to the other side over here from the back and then went down into like a V shape and then inserted my needle here and then tied the back, and then I'm just gonna like stuff that in there when I sew it to the face of the little plushie that I'm making. And I got one arm done, so I'm working on that right now. This is the second arm. I'm just gonna crochet around. The pattern will tell you how many times you go around, and it makes this little hollow arm. You can stick your finger in there. It's like a little circle. And I use this to calculate how many rows. It's a tally counter. Gonna reset it to 0. And then you hit that to calculate your numbers. Reset. It's like a little ring. So I'm using the Parfait chunky yarn. I have this green color and this white color for the belly and the muzzle. And then I didn't really have a darker green, so I just used this worsted weight yarn to make the clover. So it'll be a little bit darker. You could use like a darker Parfait chunky yarn, but I didn't have it. So I'm just using this one. And I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook. I think it says in the pattern that you can use a 4, but I like the size of the 4.5, and I like using this one. This was my favorite crochet hook. When you're closing the arms of the Care Bear, you pretty much just take the ends there and smash it together like this. And then you're going to do single crochets across in between both. And when you fold it in half, you're going to go in between both of them. Like you're going to take your crochet hook and go in between into both of those stitches out to the other side. And then you're going to wrap your yarn around and do like a single crochet. And you have 2 on your hook, and then wrap around again and then go through. So it'll tell you how many times you need to go across. But that's how you will close your little arms, by folding them in half. And then you're just going to crochet across like that. It says leave sometimes they say leave a tail, but you're going to be sewing this in to the bear, so you really don't need a long tail to sew it in. So I cut about maybe that much. And then I fasten it off by crocheting over, and then whoop, like that. So now I got my 2 arms done. I'm probably gonna work on the head, and then I'll work on maybe I'll do the ears next, and then I'll do the ears, the head, and then the body last. And then the arms are sewn into the Care Bear, and the legs are crocheted together, and then the body's worked up. So the only thing really on this pattern that you have to sew together is you have to embroider the eyes, the eyebrows, and then you have to do like shape the face, and then you have to sew in the belly, sew in the little clover or whatever to the belly, and you gotta sew this onto the belly, and then you gotta sew this onto the plushie animal on the body. So there's a little bit of sewing involved. And the nose, muzzle, you have to sew that on to the face when you get that done. With the ears, you're gonna have to sew those onto the head also. So when you fasten this off, you're gonna leave like a tail so that you can sew the ear onto the little bear. So you're gonna be making 2 of these because you got 2 ears. Unless you want just one ear bare. I'm gonna crochet, sew the nose onto here. I'm gonna be using these tapestry needles as an end and a curved edge. So first we're gonna find the end of the white yarn. Then we're just gonna attach the needle. I use these pins to hold the nose in place when I'm sewing them on. So you're going to look and kind of center this out onto the face. You want it underneath the eyes. That. And then you're going to pin it together. So I'm just putting the pins in. And this I try to stuff underneath the toy. So then now I'm just going to sew this around. I go underneath it on the green part. Pull. And then I go up on the white part. I'm going to do that all the way around. And how to go back into the green, you just insert back into the white. And since the thread is facing this way, I go grab a little bit more green underneath the white. Pull. So it's kind of like an up and down around, and then you don't see the stitches. So I'm almost done with the nose, sewing it around. So I like my nose to kind of stick out some. If you want it to be like a flat where it doesn't stick up, you can leave it flat like that. I just add a little bit of polyfill inside the muzzle so that it'll kind of poke out a little bit. Kind of like a poofy little nose. And then I finish sewing around. Kind of makes it like 3D, or makes it stand out a little bit better. So now I'm going to sew this on to the tummy part. I'm thinking to just crochet it around, not the petals, but to just sew it on from the center, and the pebbles just kind of stick up a little bit. That way it don't lose its shape. So I got this all set up, and I'm going to start crocheting, or I keep wanting to say crochet, it's sewing that on, and I got this in the center. So I'll hold that on there for me. I got the little clover sewed onto it. I added a little stem by just uh, going through one stitch and another one, like down a few, like 3 times, to make a little stem on mine. The pattern doesn't have a stem on it, but I thought it would be cute to have one. So then now I'm just going to attach that to the body and sew this belly white part around the body, and then I will stuff it with some stuffing and attach the head, and then I have to add the ears on. I have to sew the ears on, and I will stuff the head with some stuffing. So this is what it looks like so far, and so I'm going to go ahead and start sewing these pieces together and go around and just sew that together. It's going to be really cute. I like the color. I'm excited. March is coming up, so lucky bear. I'm just sewing around the belly. Go up, go down into the white, and then like behind the white, I like usually just use my thumb and flip it over. I grab some of the green so that it kind of hides the threads when you're going around, and then I go back up into the white, back, and the next stitch back down into the white, flip it up and go into the green, go back into the white, back down into the white, so then how you're going to tie this off is take your needle into the white or the green, and it forms kind of like this little loop up here at the top, like that. You're just going to put your needle through that like that, and it pulls it tight. And then I just go in a couple times in different directions with my yarn so that it will stay in there. This was all loose, so I tightened it up with the white yarn a little bit. And then I'll just cut it. So now I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing it with polyfill. It's cute. So I got some polyfill, and I'm just going to start stuffing the head until it gets tight enough or firm enough. So that he's starting to look like a little Care Bear. And put some more in there. And I'm going to start filling the body. I'm going to do the legs first and then the body. And get some polyfill. And then you can take a stick or you can use your fingers and go down into the leg. Where the feet are. And you're going to do that on both sides. So it makes it look firm like that. Get some more and kind of stuff it down on this side and then some on this side. Until the body gets firm. There's a little booched out. So now we're going to sew the head on next and then the ears last. And this little guy's almost done. So I use this little pointy thing and I put it at the top of the head like this in the center. And then I go into the body like that. And I try to find the center of the body like that. And then I want to make sure that he's turned. And it just has like a little flat head on the end. And it's pointy on the bottom. Like that. And then these extra threads right here. I usually just stuff them in the head and hide them. And this one for the body. And then I start with new thread because that way I have enough to go around the head. So then I just sew the head on like that. And that kind of keeps it in place for me so that I don't lose my spot. You can use 2 or 3. We can use one on this side, one on this side to make it more stiff so it ain't turning on you. Or you can lay it flat like on a surface and kind of do it like that, where it's flat like this, and then just go around the head. Got my string attached to my needle, tapestry needle, and I'm going to kind of turn, make sure his head's straight on there. I usually like to start at the beginning of it, so I go into the body right here, and then I go into the head, the last stitches of the head, and then I just go around, up and down, all the way around the body. So I'll grab the body first, the last stitch, or the top stitch, into the head, like that. And then I will bring enough yarn up that will go around the head. And I think that should be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm cutting the one that's attached to my yarn, like that. And then you'll have two pieces of yarn. So I'm going to tie it, the one I just cut, and this one that I'm using, and tie it like that. And then this one that I just cut, I'm going to stuff it up in the head so that I don't have to sew it in later. So then I can move the yarn away and just use the one that I just pulled up. And so I'm going to go around the head and just sew it in. And these are curved, so it helps when you're going around the head, like at a curved angle, the tapestry needles. That's why I like the curved ones, because when you're doing like a circle around the head, it helps. And I just pull it all the way through. And you can't see the stitch that I just made. I made like 3. And that attaches the head together. So you go from the body, the next stitch, up into the next stitch to the next stitch of the head, and then you go through like that. And make sure it doesn't get caught on your arms, your legs, or the little clover you just made, because it'll pull it off. So I'm just going to go around and make sure you stuff the head as you go around the body so that the stuffing doesn't show. So when I put the ears on, it tells you where to put them on there. So I find the center with my pin, and then I count however many down, and then I stitch my ear on. So I got one on so far. I'm almost done with him. Then I'm going to do the eyebrows and the mouth.